I see a lot of people saying, "You're playing Rift? That's a dead game." But is Rift really a dead game in 2020? Let's find out. What's up YouTube, I'm Kurraku0 and today we're going to be exploring Rift. So it's no doubt that the player base has dwindled in size since its initial release of 2011, but that doesn't mean there still isn't an active player base. Now there's a few things to keep in mind when playing. The first thing to keep in mind is server choice. When starting your first time through the game, Rift gives you a recommendation on a server choice that is most active. From my experience, Deepwood seems to have the most active I've seen. Looking at Tempest Bay, which is one of the endgame locations, see how many people there are here? And it's not even peak time right now. I just want you to take note and see how full it is. Now let's check out that same area at the same time on a less populated server, Wolfsbane. As you can see, not a lot of people here compared to the other server we were on. And it's not nearly as many people, and this is an endgame area. Now if we go to the Guardian starting area on the less populated server, you can see there's no one here at all. Now if we jump back to Deepwood, the more heavily populated server, you can see it's almost the same. But there are a few people hanging out here in the early game space. Now, even venturing out into where the quests are, you can see there aren't really people questing here in the starting levels, even on the more populated servers. While this does seem to deter some people playing the game initially, it seems most people who are already leveled are focused on endgame content anyway. Now let's take a step back. So what if you've already created a character on one of the least populated servers? Don't worry, you're able to transfer your character to a different server where there are more people playing. All you have to do on the login screen, select the character you would like to transfer. Click the transfer button at the bottom, choose the shard you would like to transfer to, and click transfer. Now to do this, you'll have to have all the items in your mailbox deleted before the transfer. And just one more quick note to add, you can only transfer a character every 7 days. The reason that you would want to be on an active server is that guilds are server based, and you'd have to be on the same server as the guild is on to join it. One of the things that will make your life wonderful is joining an active guild. As you see here, there are a few people on, and the ones that are not were on just a few hours ago. Now compare that with this guild that has people who were last active 93 days ago, 96 days ago, 96 days ago, you get the idea. Having more active people to do group events with will make your gameplay more fun for endgame content. Now if you really want to get the most out of Rift, you'll want to do the endgame content. Shown here is the beginning level raid Tartaric Depths, or TDEZ in chat. You're able to do after level 70 and obtaining the gear from the Vastagar Peak storyline. This raid was done recently, and I do them almost every day, which shows there are still people playing the endgame content. Besides this raid, there is Tartaric Depths normal mode, Intrepid Rise of the Phoenix, and Bastion of Steel. Another endgame dungeon that is pretty popular is Envoy of Anket. One thing to note is that there is no raid finder in this game. To be able to see the chat where people are looking for game, you would need to join the cross events chat by typing /join space cross events, all one word. Now it is true that there haven't been any new raids released in the past 4 years, but as we've seen with Summerfest 2020 event coming out, with a new best in slot seal that's hinting at a possible new raid coming out. One thing that was data mined recently with the Season 4 Battle Pass was the plans for what looked like a new PvP arena. Other than raids, there is more endgame content for you to do. There are zone events like the ever popular Cracking Zarth Skull, there's the Eternal Weapons quest to get your best in slot weapon, crifts or crafting rifts that award much needed crafting materials, and the ever popular PvP warfronts. I'll be going more in depth about each of these endgame content features and why they're important in later videos, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notifications to be notified when I post them. PvP warfronts do have a group finder and seem to be more active on North American servers around 8 PM Eastern Time and going well into midnight and beyond. You can access the PvP finder by pressing K as the default on your keyboard. Now there is a different gear requirement for PvP, but as I said, I'll be going over that in a later video. Some people find that they queue up for PvP and never get into a warfront. If you're between level 65 and 70, you'll probably have a better chance of queuing during peak times I had mentioned before. If you're not level 65 yet, chances are your warfront queue will never pop. That's just how it is. There aren't enough new players to pop for PvP, not to mention you level up pretty fast in this game, so don't worry too much. If you want to know the fastest way to level up in Rift, make sure you check out my next video on how to level up in Rift, and you'll be at endgame content in no time. So the final verdict, though Rift is but a mere shade of its former self, it is certainly not dead.
How mistaken you were.
And I think if you gave it a real chance, I think you would like it and see that it's not like any other MMO out there. I'm Kurraku0, and I'll see you in the next video.